What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and let's be real about Damian Lillard. After a long, grueling, and losing season for the Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard has finally formally requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers, and the writing's been on the wall for a very, very long time. He's been saying that he wants to be there and he wants to win a championship with the Blazers, but some other things that he would say would contradict that statement. And speaking of contradictions, the way that he's trying to leave the Blazers right now contradicts his entire motto about being loyal, and it definitely does send the wrong message to his fans. I'm just not a big fan of what he's doing in terms of forcing himself out of Portland to get to Miami. I feel like he's been a diva throughout this entire process, not really cooperating with the Portland Trail Blazers and almost forcing them into the worst deal possible just so he can get to a place where he wants to be. I think he should be willing to play anywhere he lands because honestly, he'd make any place a contender. Obviously, he's been loyal to this franchise, and that makes him feel like he deserves to get whatever he wants in terms of this trade getting done. And I really do disagree with that statement, and we're going to get into that now. Let's just get this out of the way. First things first, I'm very happy that Damian Lillard has requested a trade. I'm glad he's trying to get out of Portland. I feel like this has been long overdue, but we'll get to that later. I'm tired of watching Dame carry these mediocre tier rosters to playoff berths and then get bounced out. I want to see him play with another star. I feel like a lot of NBA stars right now currently have had that luxury. They've had a co-star that's worthy of being called a co-star, and I think the best Dame has gotten is CJ. So I want to see him play with some real top-end talent for once, but I don't really like the way he's going about the situation. I know Dame wants to win just as much as anybody else, and the clock's ticking on Dame time, so I can't blame him for wanting to get out of that situation. The Blazers have continuously not surrounded him with the best pieces year after year. They don't make any real trades, and their offseason moves are pretty mundane. So I don't really blame Dame for wanting out at all. Anybody would want out, and I'm very surprised he's even stayed there as long as he has. That being said, I feel like he should be a lot more understanding of the situation the Blazers are in. If he is so loyal to the team and, that's his motto, that's the motto he's been living by, I don't really see how he flips this hard. This seems like a real pent-up aggression right here, the way that he's trying to force himself to Miami, even though the trades that Miami are offering just frankly aren't that good or play into Portland's favor, what they want for the future. Frankly, this coming from Mr. Loyal himself is very selfish, and I don't want to give Dame a pass for this, especially because when players have done this in the past, he's put them on blast, said they're running from the grind, said they're taking the easy way out. So for Damian Lillard to really want to force himself to a team that was just in the NBA Finals is a complete contradiction of what he usually is about. And like I said, it really does seem like this is just pent-up aggression and due to the fact that he just wanted to be elsewhere for a long time. I feel like I've seen hints of this build up over every single season, and Dame has just stayed put because you kind of have to when you build yourself that kind of rut. He's been talking about how loyal he is and how he wants to win a championship with the Blazers for so long when it didn't make sense for him to stay on the roster, even last season when it seemed perfect for him to get traded. The timing was great and he still didn't want to leave. So the fact that he's trying to force himself straight to Miami is very selfish to me because you've had ample opportunity to get out of this situation. Being that Dame took so long to request this trade, a lot of teams don't even have the assets or money to get him at this point. About a year ago or 2 years ago would have been perfect. There are so many options and ways that he could go to different teams and help them contend, but this point in time right now, it's just not that simple. Most teams already have their starting point guard for the foreseeable future, and if they don't, they're either A, not contending, or B, just can't afford one right now. Damian Lillard is not a cheap player to get via trade or picking him up in the offseason, so if you don't have the assets right now or the money, you just can't get him. This is a really bad time. Teams that could genuinely use his services right now just don't have the assets to trade for them, a la Miami, trying to give up Tyler Hero and pretty much a bunch of scraps to get a superstar level player, and the Portland Trail Blazers aren't budging. They don't want that, and I can't blame them for not wanting that. The Knicks wanted you a couple years ago. They had all the assets in the world, picks galore, young players, and now they have Jalen Brunson. He's a nice, young, great point guard, and he just played well in the playoffs, so I doubt that they're going to want to trade him for an aging point guard who just had a major back injury not even 2 years ago. The Lakers wanted you. Even last year, the year before that, and the year before that. You didn't want to go. Now they have an entire roster and their money is wrapped up. They have no more cap space to even get you there. There was rumblings about the Nuggets. Jokic and Dame would have been an amazing duo, but you didn't want to go. And they just won a championship. Jamal Murray's not going anywhere. MPJ's not going anywhere. None of their pieces are going anywhere. They're going to run it back, and you missed your opportunity. So I feel like, Dame, you cannot expect to have any leverage in this situation, because you could have had leverage for years and years on end. Where things get really complicated is when Damian Lillard says he won't suit up for any other team but Miami. I understand having a preference, but completely telling the rest of the league that you just will not suit up for any roster but Miami is kind of weird, and it's very selfish of Dame. A question I have is, what if you don't get traded? Will you suit up for the Portland Trailblazers? Are you still going to be loyal to the franchise that you still said you wanted to win a championship with? Or after this whole thing goes down, are you still not going to show up to training camp? In my humble opinion, I feel like Dame is being a diva about this, a prima donna, if you will. He should be willing to play for whatever team he gets traded to for a couple of reasons. A, you've hung your hat on being this loyal, I'm going to go out there and hoop guy for so many years, so I feel like this is a very jarring flip for you. B, you lost your leverage long ago. There were opportune times for you to request a trade where there were multiple gateways, outlets, teams that wanted you, ways for you to get there, trade packages, and also, don't forget, you're the one who signed the extension. Nobody forced you to sign the extension with Portland. You did that. So I don't feel like you should have any leverage in this situation. And last, but certainly not least, whatever team you go to is more than likely going to be a contender. Damian Lillard is still one of the best point guards in the game. I have him probably third. If we count Luka as a point guard, I go Steph, Luka, Damian Lillard. So the fact that you don't believe in yourself enough that you can win with whatever team gives you an offer, it's kind of sad, Dame, especially because of the fact that you were willing to stay on the Portland Trailblazers of all teams for so many years, but now that there's teams that literally will be better than your Trailblazer teams have been for the past X amount of years, and you refuse to go there. I understand that the Portland Trailblazers have been a bad franchise for almost Damian Lillard's entire tenure, but guilt tripping them into getting you where you want, I feel like is not the way to go, especially because they've been just as loyal to you as you've been to them. A lot of people want to talk about how franchises are not loyal to their players, but this specific franchise has been real loyal to Dame. They haven't had the ability to give him the talent needed to go on a nice run, but they've stuck by his side the entire time, and I just don't like the route that he's going with this trade request. It's the same route James Harden went, and you see what he's doing, bouncing from team to team every single time there's a slight issue. I just don't like the mindset. Dame is still an elite tier player that can take a buying team and turn them into contenders, I feel like, so I don't understand why he's not willing to suit up for any other roster besides the one that just made the finals. But I really do hope he changes his stance on that. Damian Lillard would look good on a lot of teams, and whatever teams are still willing to make an offer, I feel like they should at least be heard out and not shut completely down because he doesn't want to go there, and they're afraid that they're going to trade for a player that's not even going to suit up. I know there's going to be Dame fans that are mad at me, and honestly, you could be mad. I do not care because I'm mad at Dame right now. We'll see how this entire thing plays out, but I really just feel like Dame has been very disingenuous about this entire trade process, and I hope he takes back what he said and he'll actually just play for whoever wants him or play for the Portland Trailblazers if he doesn't get traded. But that's it for the video. See you on the next one.